that we can't reach some kind of solution here.
There are two different ways we could have avoided this shutdown. Democrats rejected both of them.
Straight ahead on Wake Up NonStop, local government shutdown. Lawmakers in D.C. failing to come to a compromise on funding the federal government, with health care in the crosshairs.
To cut the garbage and get serious with us about solving the health care crisis.
It's stunning. I cannot believe that Chuck Schumer has done this, really.
The first shutdown since 2018 and how it could affect you. That's straight ahead. Plus, new information on the two people shot and killed on the South Hill last week. What we now know about one of the men who died, his criminal history, and his crimes against a teenage girl.
Plus, a first look at your weather forecast. It is October 1st. We're going to sit mostly cloudy with the chance of some scattered showers popping up. The full details of how you can get ready on a Wednesday ahead.
Also this morning, tough medicine, why the Spokane County Jail is now looking for a new medical provider. All that plus pooches on paranormal patrol.
The fearless furballs for one spooky training exercise coming up on Wake Up NonStop Local.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun. And here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. It's all about rising, and I wanna be there.
Well, here's a live look from the U.S. Capitol building where the last-ditch effort to keep the government funded has failed. A new government shutdown is underway. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kalai Chalk.
And I'm Sam Adams. That shutdown starting at 9:01 p.m. Pacific time last night after a short-term vote fell just 5 votes shy of the 60 needed to pass.
On this vote, the yeas are 55 and the nays are 45. The 60-vote threshold having not been achieved, the bill upon reconsideration is not passed.
Now, the Senate is expected to be in session to take up the issue once again today. Still unclear how long the shutdown will last or how widespread the impacts will be. The Senate also rejecting a Democratic alternative bill that would have funded the government through October 31st. That bill, though, included an extension of subsidies from the Affordable Care Act and money to offset cuts to Medicaid.
Democrats and Republicans are sending shots across the aisle. Democrats say Republicans won't even come to the table. Republicans accuse Democrats of seizing the opportunity to force policy changes while making the American public pay.
Families are waiting, and we've been at the table ready to solve this for months. Don't tell us you want to fix this later. Later is too late. The healthcare clock has all but run out.
Far left Democrat members wanted a showdown with the president. And so Senate Democrats have sacrificed the American people to Democrats' partisan interests.
Now, members of Congress still get a paycheck during the shutdown because their pay comes from the Treasury, not spending bills, which is outlined in the U.S. Constitution.
Meantime, though, that's not the case for as many as 4 million federal employees. They could go without a paycheck during the shutdown. That includes airport security, air traffic controllers, and certain members of the military. And with that, we want to bring you a live report this morning from how we're going to feel that here at home.
Yeah, let's get to NonStop Local's Noah Bolter, who's live this morning at Fairchild Air Force Base.
Well, Sam, Clay, you mentioned live here at Fairchild, you can see the line of people showing up to work this morning despite the shutdown. Fairchild is home to nearly 12,000 members of the military and civilian employees, as well as nearly 900 Army Guard and Reserve personnel. Now, I reached out to Fairchild about how this government shutdown will affect them. They gave us this statement, quote, active duty personnel will continue working, but some civilian employees will face furloughs, non-essential services, and some MWR facilities will close or have reduced hours, end quote. They went on to say that leadership is focused on helping families through any disruptions. And we also got a response from Air Force Public Affairs that said a shutdown can, quote, significantly impact our readiness, modernization efforts, and overall ability to maintain technological superiority, end quote. Now, Washington has over 58,000 federal workers. Idaho has nearly 11,000, many of whom expected to show up to work today, even though they will not be paid for it. As far as back pay, well, it is not guaranteed, but it could be included in legislation used to restart the government whenever that may be. Live in Spokane, Noah Bolter, NonStop Local.
A lot of people affected. All right, Noah, thank you. It is now 6:35. Here's a live look over downtown Spokane where the sun is getting to rise and we're seeing some clouds in the sky.
All right, so partly cloudy, but with 100% sunshine as far as Jenny Power is concerned, because we're at the start of October. Jenny, this is your favorite time of year.
It is, when there's a little bit of crisp in the air, a little bit of a drizzle. That's my personal favorite. So for all the fall lovers out there, yes, it is October 1st and we've entered that transition time of year here where we're seeing that. As far as what we're seeing right now on our current satellite and radar, a couple of scattered showers out there is what we're waking up to down on the Palouse that are starting to lighten up, and it's a dry start across parts of Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. It is a little bit crisp out there though. 50 degrees for Sandpoint, 45 for Deer Park, 47 for Colville, 52 for Spokane, and we're at 61 currently for the Tri-Cities. So it's varying this morning. But what's happening weather-wise is we are going to see another system move through, first impacting central Washington and the Cascades before bringing us another round chances here of some scattered showers into this evening. Now, with it being October 1st, it is also National Pumpkin Spice Day. So as you're headed out the door, you want that fall treat, whether it's pumpkin spice or just another type of your favorite coffee here. It is going to be cold by about 7 a.m., still in the upper 40s for the Spokane area, mostly cloudy into this afternoon. But when we can expect the arrival of these scattered showers, as well as how much our rain totals are anticipated to be over the next 24 hours, we'll talk about that in 10 minutes. Sam Clay.
All right, Jenny, thank you. Let's get to your top local news headlines right now. We can tell you right now the second victim in that deadly shooting on the Spokane South Hill has now been identified. Spokane medical examiner confirming that 20-year-old Emilio Vasquez died from multiple gunshot wounds, his manner of death being ruled a homicide.
We still don't know the identity of a third person who was shot and injured. And now we're working to find out what led to the shooting. Also, we're learning about the criminal history of the other person who died. 37-year-old Terrence Wallette had several run-ins with the law and a history of mental illness.
Back in 2009, you may remember Wallette locked a 16-year-old girl in his bedroom for days while he monitored her from a security camera. Wallette was 21 years old at the time. He locked her inside his room for days, allegedly assaulting her and giving her just a cup to go to the bathroom. She was later found months later, scared that he would also hurt her family.
Wallette finished serving community supervision related to that case in February. Public records show the shooting took place in front of the home where that teenager now lives. Again, an investigation is underway to determine what led to that shooting last week. Well, there's a new tool available for sexual assault survivors in Spokane County. It's been created to offer privacy, control, and support for victims.
Now, this also works as a valuable resource for Spokane police to help track down offenders. This is called Seek, Then Speak. It was first introduced at the state level back in April. Now, the Seek portion of this site provides private access to information about medical care, victim advocacy, and support services. Now, the Speak part has survivors 18 and older complete a self-guided interview at their own pace.
Spokane police and advocate groups say that the tool will help comfort victims who might fear the unknown of reporting sexual assault.
We know that victims have a hard time coming forward just because of how many unknowns there are. This program allows them to have a better idea of what the process would look like if they choose to move forward.
Spokane police say the program does not replace traditional investigation techniques for sexual crimes. Resources is to help survivors feel more comfortable seeking help.
I feel like the little Dutch boy with my finger in the dike because I kept the monster in the cage. It's going to be on the state. You know, they released him. They're the ones liable.
One of Spokane's most notorious criminals could be released. There's a hearing tomorrow for the potential release of Kevin Coe, also known as the South Hill Rapist.
Coe served 25 years in prison for the rape of that woman, Julie Harmia, before he was involuntarily committed to McNeil Island. A hearing will be held tomorrow to determine if he will be released back to the community. Now, ahead of that hearing, we have aired a special report on the crimes, the history of those crimes, and the terror felt by girls and women in Spokane in the late 1970s and early 1980s.
To watch the special, you can scan the QR code on your screen to take you to nonstoplocal.com/co. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and tonight the YWCA is hosting a vigil to honor the lives lost and uplift survivors. Local service providers in Spokane are inviting the public to a night of remembrance and hope to kick off a month-long effort being dubbed Domestic Violence Action Month.
Leaders and representatives from local organizations will be on hand to speak. That includes Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown. You're encouraged to wear purple in support of victims and survivors. This begins at 5:30 p.m. this evening at the amphitheater in Riverfront Park, located on Canada Island near Inspiration Point. Continuing coverage right now, Spokane County working to secure a contract with a new medical provider for the county jail. The existing provider announcing earlier this year that it is terminating that agreement with the county as it pulls out of the state of Washington.
The county has identified Medico Correctional Healthcare as its top choice to step into that vital role.
What they had relayed to us through our interviews and the documentation they supplied to us, been in the business for around 28 years, primarily on the East Coast, but they are expanding over this way.
The county is operating on a tight deadline with the existing agreement coming to a close by the end of the year. Negotiations with Medico are expected to take about 60 days to complete. Medico has an existing contract already in place to perform medical care for inmates in King County. Hundreds of U.S. generals and admirals stationed around the world gathered at Quantico, Virginia, after being summoned by what is now the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth.
This is the scene yesterday in Quantico, where Hegseth laid out new guidelines for the department, including a new combat field test where all soldiers will now be required to meet the very same standard.
This is not about preventing women from serving. We very much value the impact of female troops. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is.
And while asserting this vision for the U.S. military, he told senior officers on hand if they don't agree, they can resign. 6:41 this morning, officially October, which means the countdown to Halloween is officially underway.
And some police canines in Nevada are getting ready for spooky season in a pretty unique way.
They're using a haunted house for training, attempting to hone their skills in detecting illegal substances and also tracking suspects.
All right, this training is taking place at the so-called asylum in Las Vegas, where canines face noises, flashing lights, and unusual stares.
And the owners say that the scenarios help dogs stay calm in stressful situations. And they say despite the distractions, most of the dogs completed the test successfully.
That's amazing. A job well done, because I can't focus at all in those types of scenarios.
Right? I mean, you're on high alert every time you go in. If the
Yes.
dogs can pull it off there, they can pull it off probably anywhere.
That's true.
More to come here on Wake Up NonStop Local, including this driverless car running into trouble with the law.
How police handled a traffic ticket with no driver behind the wheel, coming up.
Plus, we'll get a look at your weather forecast. Take a look at this sunrise. Gorgeous, peeking through some of the clouds. It feels like fall out there for October 1st. The chance of showers, though, I'm tracking ahead.